Okay, so this is going to be what your design will look like. You're going to start with having a headline, a name and date column, and also 3 columns here, and you'll be placing your hybrid animal photos here, and then I've shown you just a frame. And then also you're going to be doing a text wrap where the text is going to wrap around your design. So to start that, the first thing you need to do is go to File and New, and you're going to be in Documents. And just make sure you're in print because this is going to be a printout. The column numbers, make sure you click to 3. And I've hit preview so you can see that I have 3 columns. These are non-printable lines, and it's just there for your text boxes to wrap to, and also just to measure so everything lines up. So that's why I have those columns. I'm going to hit OK. So now I'm going to go to my type tool, and you're going to just click in that top corner and create your first type box. That's going to be your headline box. Fill it with color so you can see it. And that's our headline box. Then you'll grab your type tool again and use your type tool to click and drag your name and date box for your newsletter. Fill that with a color. And then create your 3 columns. Then you'll want to copy and text because you need to create a text box for all 3 columns. So I'm just going to copy and place that. And you see the grid that I set up when I did the 3 columns. It helps. It just snaps all that into shape so I don't have to spend too much time cleaning it up. Okay, now to type in the type box, you have to grab your type tool, you click on it, and this is what I'm going to name it. So for yours, come up with a fun name for your headline. I can't see it because that's what color I've selected, so there. Pick a font to match like a headline font style. Enlarge the size. So that's the headline of my newsletter. I also want to make sure that I've centered it. And if you'll notice, when I click off of it, see how my headline's just right here, flush to the top? That's not right. I need to center it. So I'm going to change my leading. So again, in InDesign, you have to make sure you're using your type tool to select. It's not like Illustrator and Photoshop when you use your selection tool. So I'm using my type tool to select so I can change this. I'm going to come up here. Here's my leading option right here. It's just showing me my baseline shift. So I'm just going to make that smaller. And I'll bring that down so it's centered. Okay, so then you're just going to put your name and date here. So you've seen I've done that on the second one. Now what I need to do is I'm going to take my type and I want to make sure this type, I've written my whole article, and I want to fill it in my columns over here. So I've written the article. You can type it in Word, whatever you're most comfortable with. You can type it right here in InDesign if you'd like. But I'm going to paste that in there. There's my article, but you can see it did not automatically link to those columns. I have to link those columns together. So what I'm going to do is, if you see down here that little plus sign, that's showing me I have more font or more writing than showing. So something's missing. I'm not seeing it because it's run out of the type box. I'm going to grab my selection tool, click on my next column. There's this little white box right here. And I'll come over here and I get a little chain link. When I click down, it links that so whatever, my story just continues. I still have extra story left. So I'm going to click right here. Just repeat that step. Click on that white box. Okay, now I haven't filled my entire column of story because I know I'm going to have some photos in there that's going to take the spot. So to add my photos, I need to come over here to my toolbox. I have a frame tool, and it just has an X in it. This is a frame tool that I can put my pictures in. So I'm going to start with, I'll just do an ellipse one. My picture is going to be circle. I'm like, oh, that's about where I want to place it. Now I have to go to File and I need to place that picture in there. you need to make sure that your Photoshop file is a JPEG, not a Photoshop file. So when you go to save out of Photoshop, you're going to File, Save As, pick Format JPEG, and that's where you'll be able to pull it from. So I've already done that. Here's my, that's the Photoshop file. Here's my JPEG file, my Duraffe. I'm going to open, and it placed in there. My photo of the Duraffe was bigger than my frame, so I'm going to come up to Object, down to Fitting, and I don't want to fit my frame to content because that would make my frame bigger. I want to fit my content to the frame proportionally. I'm going to just make my frame fit a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to go that again. Fitting. I can grab that little piece and drag it around if I want. Okay. But the one thing now, my picture is covering some of my letters, so I want my type turned around. So that's called a text wrap. It's right here. If you can't find it, under Window, go look for text wrap. And I'm going to select only the two columns I'm wrapping it to. I'm going to come over here. I could do it so it's squared around it, but I actually want it to contour, so I'm going to do the wrap around. Then I just want you to notice that right here, it's touching that. I wanted to give it a little bit of a edge around it, like on this one, so it looks a little bit more professional. So I'm going to select those two. Sorry, for some reason it's not. Oh, there it is. Well, I'm going to have to play around and figure out why those aren't working. I obviously have something wrong selected. Okay, so then you will have your design set up. So again, your frame box can be any size. So if you wanted to make it bigger, that's fine. Your lettering will adjust around it just fine. Once you've got them designed, you can move your pictures and the font will automatically kind of wrap around where it's supposed to be if you have the text wrap set. Oh, and then I also want you to put a decorative edge on your side. So you're going to pick your text box. Under Object, it's a corner options. Click on that. And I would have them linked unless you want every corner to be different. You have just a couple of different versions of what you want to do. I'm going to do the round bevel. I'm going to change it just to be a little bit bigger. You can see it gave me just a little option. So that just adds a little bit of flair to it. Again, these preset lines of the columns will not print. So all I'll see is my headline box, my name box, and then what I've gotten colored in there. All right, so that is an InDesign. Pop both your pictures in there. We'll end up saving these as PDFs and submitting them to Canvas under the hybrid newsletter.